guys? What do you think? I dropped my pick, of course. Yeah, probably too loud. Let me bring that down a little bit. How's everybody doing today? Oops. Forgive me if I'm clipping, if I'm too loud, let me know. Are you guys doing well today? Welcome to the live show. I'm trying to set things up here really quick. And if you guys are hearing me okay, please give me a thumbs up. Sometimes it's not obvious on my end. Is the guitar too loud? Is it too low? I just want to make sure I'm not blowing anybody's eardrums out. How's everybody doing today? Welcome. Hey guys, it's Sunday. Sunday again. I'm dealing with headphone hair, as you can see. All right, welcome guys. How you guys doing? There's this Pee Wee Herman thing happening with my hair this morning. I'm trying to flatten it with my headphones so I look presentable. I don't want to look bad for you guys. Everything, image is everything. How's everybody doing this Sunday? Welcome to show number 132, Addicted to Gear. And I want to say a big welcome to all of the people that are the early risers that ended up maybe even setting their alarm clock to get up and watch the show. Who knows? Or maybe you haven't even gotten to bed yet. Welcome, and I want to say a big welcome to all of the newcomers that are going to be jumping in today at some point, hopefully. If you guys are new, I want to say, please do me a favor, and I'll repeat it later on in case other people jump in. Please type in new, so I know that you guys are new here, because I know there's a bunch of regulars, but from time to time we do have new faces, new names, and I want to welcome you guys, properly to the show. So I'm Tony. I'm Addicted to Gear. This is our gear show that encourages, supports. How else can I put it? Talks down gear addiction, maybe. I don't know about the last one too much. It probably won't help you if you're looking for a way to possibly win an argument with your better half in terms of the new gear you just brought in. We usually probably encourage people more than anything else, but I wanted to say welcome. And please present yourself if you're new. If you're not new and you're a regular here, hey, you know what? I appreciate you guys for tuning in. You guys are the reason I dragged myself out of bed so early on a Sunday morning, mainly. Today was one of those days where it just felt so good to stay in bed, because October is here. It's getting cold outside. It's like 4 degrees here where I am already. It's kind of like a dreary day, and it just felt so good laying in bed. But I looked at my watch and I'm like, no, I got to get out there. Got to get up, and we got gear to talk about, so that's why we're here. So welcome everybody. Once again, if you're new, just type in new so I know that you're a newcomer to the show this Sunday. I wanted to also say that last Friday night, yeah, it was Friday evening, 6 o'clock, I ended up participating in a show with the Pedal Guy. So if you guys know who I'm talking about, the Pedal Guy basically reviews a lot of gear just like I do. And we had a really nice time chatting. We spent almost 2 hours talking about gear, and specifically the Nu X stuff, because the Pedal Guy actively supports the Nu X brand. And he invited me to participate in his show. I had a blast. I enjoyed his company, and we talked about some really great stuff. If you missed it, just watch it on my channel. I restreamed it so that you guys could watch it on either platform, but it's there in my videos, in my content. So if you're interested in taking a look at that, if you missed it, if you weren't aware, it's there. All right. So that's another goodie for you guys if you're interested. So I want to say good morning to the people that are here. Rico, good morning, my friend. How you doing? Rico, it's been a while. How you doing? Jean-Pierre just popped in. Good morning, buddy. Uh, Jean-Pierre doesn't even play guitar and he participates in the chats and stuff. So I give you a thumbs up, my friend. Thank you for joining in. Fat Philosopher says, I'm having my guitar sent to work to avoid the wife. There's a smart man. Always one step ahead. Hey, Fat Philosopher, I hope you're feeling better, my friend. Hope things are back to normal or getting back to normal. Martin is here. He says, I have no time to stay with you all the show, but good morning to everybody. Hey, Martin, no problem, dude. Participate where you can, when you can. You can always watch the replays later on and, participate in the comments. It's all good. We appreciate you here. Let's see. Dan Smith is here too. Good morning. Rich is here. I'm just scrolling up and down, guys. So if I skip, you don't feel bad. I'm just because I'm jumping around. Johnny Franklin Torres is here too. Rocktober, he says. Yes, indeed, it is Rocktober. We'll talk about October in a couple of seconds here. Cooltoon says, tip, always hide your gear in the car trunk before bringing it in the home. And the coast is clear. I have to admit, I have used that tactic before. It's good to do that when it's not cold. Don't leave your guitars in your car if it's cold though. All right, that's another tip. You don't want anything nasty to happen to your guitars. But yeah, keeping it under the radar till the coast is clear. Excellent tip. D-Max says, good morning. Glad I was able to catch it at least the last part of your stream with the pedal guy on Friday. Still looking at those new X modelers. Cool. Thank you for participating in that one too. All right, so I'm going to say hi to Jeff, to Wayne. Presley's here. Let's see. Eddie says sorry he is late. You don't have to be sorry, man. It's all good. Christian, hello, Christian. How are you doing, buddy? The old guitarist is here. Sneaking in at work. They don't know I have my headphones. Sweet. All right. Priorities. All right. Steve is here too. A couple of new names. It's me, Don P is here too. Peter England. Welcome, Peter. And who was the first person here this morning? Was it Wayne? Were you the first guy in today, Wayne? I'm not sure. I wasn't keeping close tabs there. Eddie says, once told my wife I was working on a guy's guitar when I still had it. I told her the dude went to jail, so I couldn't give it back. Dude, you guys are crazy. Very ingenious, I gotta say. The dude went to jail. Well, I've used a couple of excuses like that. Like, it's not my guitar. Somebody lent it to me to set it up for him, and he hasn't come and get it yet. So, that kind of works. And also just being careful about the colors of your guitar. You don't want to bring in a guitar that's drastically different from the others, because then it's a red flag, right? So you want to kind of make sure it blends in. So if somebody says, hey, is that a new guitar? No, I've had that for years. Don't you remember? And they kind of like look at you and then, all right. So good news, Fat Philosopher says he gets out of the hospital in 3 days. Good. I'm happy to hear that, Fat Philosopher. I hope everything's good and they're treating you well over there. Not too much poking and prodding, I hope. I don't know what the hospital system is like over on your end of the world, but here I'm going to be honest, it sucks pretty hard. It's not very good, so I wouldn't want to necessarily have to be in the hospital very long. But hopefully they're getting you patched up and you'll be good as new. Jeff says, I bought myself a Headrush FRFR 12 yesterday. So a full flat response. I always mess up the name on these things. FRFR stands for flat response What else? What's the other FR stand for? Come on, Jeff. Just so everybody else knows. He says it's the 12 that he bought, and he says he's initially running it drum backing tracks live, but now I'm looking for modelers. Any recommendations? Jeff, you're definitely at the right place for recommendations. First of all, I want to say congratulations on the headrush unit. The FRFR headrush system is great. I have one too. I don't have the 12-inch. I have the 8, which is plenty. It's plenty loud to play with a band in a rehearsal situation. Yeah, that's right, Jeff. Full range, flat response, and full range. That's what the FR stands for. A lot of people, Fat Philosopher says, Floyd Rose, close, but no guitar. No guitar, Fat Philosopher. Instead of cigar. You see what I did there? A lot of people may not know why you would need an FRFR speaker, but when you're dealing with multi-effects units, it's great because it doesn't color your sound, or it's not supposed to color your sound beyond the initial frequencies that you're getting. So it's almost like a studio monitor kind of situation for live playing. And it makes a huge difference. I always struggled with multi-effects units until I switched to an FRFR speaker because I was never able to get all of the coloration out. So even if you're going into a cabinet that is generally, pretty flattish in terms of sounds, it always colorizes the sound a little bit. So when you go with an FRFR speaker, that kind of goes away, especially if you're getting a really good one, and allows you to program your multi-effects unit, hear what your setup or sounds are like in your own studio, and then take that with you and be able to reproduce it pretty closely in a live scenario. Even though it does change the sound a little bit because of the room. Obviously, if you're playing in a larger room, the acoustics will generally cause changes in the sound. I've noticed that myself, but generally that could be tweaked out using a little bit of EQ. But it's a lot easier than going into a cabinet, in my opinion, like a Marshall cab or something like that. So just before, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but I want to say that if you have questions, today I'm going to be probably on for only about an hour, guys, because it is Thanksgiving here in Canada. And I got, Thanksgiving dinner and stuff to prepare. And basically what I'm trying to say is I'm getting ready to scoff. And if you guys don't know what scoff means, is stuff my face with turkey. So the show's probably only going to be about an hour. So if you guys want to ask questions, gear-related questions, don't wait. All right, just jump right in. And I'm keeping my eye on the latest questions as they go. So I'll try to answer them before they actually go by too quickly. And yeah, October, man. Many of you don't know that it's Thanksgiving here in Canada. A lot of you guys are not from Canada. You maybe don't realize. I'm really happy and thankful that I have another day off. Monday is a holiday for me, and I need another holiday to recharge the batteries, and maybe even squeeze in another video for you guys. I got some really cool product that's standing right there in the box that I'm going to be hopefully putting out a video in on YouTube for you guys this week. I'm trying my best. So Martin says, I want to give it a try to the Line 6 Power Cab FRFR. I don't know if it is good at low-level home use. I haven't used the Line 6 Power Cab, but I have, as far as the headrush goes, the one I've been using, low volume works just fine. I haven't seen a big difference in the sound when you're pumping it up very loud. I have heard people say that the 12-inch speaker versions of these cabinets have a lot more bass, and some people don't realize that the bass really comes through big time on these type of speakers. So you kind of have to dial it back a little bit in certain cases, but it's pretty easy to do. So it's one of those things. You just have to get like a little bit familiar with where the frequencies spike and just dial it down a little bit. You know, you can even, a lot of the units will actually even allow you to do that directly, like in their global settings. So you're able to dial it back right away instead of doing it individually in the patches, which is a big, it's a big plus, I think. And just to answer the questions, you know, like if you are looking for a multi-effects unit today, there's so many choices. It's really mind-boggling how many choices there are. The Neural is great. The Fractal is great. Line 6 Helix is awesome. There's a lot of other products from Line 6 as well. The NUX stuff is great if you're looking at stuff that's not too expensive. The MG400 is very affordable. Then you have the MG30, which is more of a giggable unit. We have the Ampero Stomp, which is another great unit as well. There's new stuff coming out every day, and it's all like it's hard for me to say which one you should buy because they all have strong points in different areas depending on what you're trying to do with them. You know, so if you're gigging, if you're touring, if you're just playing at home, you know, you might not need to spend $2,500 on the top of the line unit, and you can probably do quite well with units that are not that expensive. So House of Twang, welcome. Paul's here today too. Paul says I got the every fuzz in one box. Walrus Audio, Eons, pulled out a dead on Baldwin Burns, Buzz Around, a Bang on Tone Bender, and a killer massive octave fuzz. It replaces 4 pedals on my board and no compromises. Dude, you're I think Paul's going through a fuzz phase right now. He's really not a fuzz phase. I think Paul's like bad tripping on fuzzes because he's really into the fuzzes lately, which is not bad. That's a lot of fuzz, man. That's a lot of fuzz. That's pretty cool though. Very nice. Hey, if you're tripping on fuzz, you might as well get all of them, right? That's what. Why stop at 1 or 2? Just get all of them. That's pretty cool, Paul. Thanks for sharing that info, man. Walrus Audio Eons. Nice, nice. I'll have to eventually check that out. Maybe get into fuzz a little more. As I mentioned last week, I'm not a huge fuzz guy. I don't usually overdo any kind of fuzz, so it's pretty straightforward for me. I usually classic rock tones is what I usually go after. I know fuzz is part of that as well, and you can get a really nice Hendrix type sound just going into a fuzz, dialing it back a little bit through a Marshall. That works beautifully in the Marshall Studio 20, the Plexi that I have. You can get a beautiful sound, Hendrixy sound with a Strat, just dialing it back. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do. Hey, the pedal guy's here. Welcome, welcome. Thanks. I was just talking about you. I don't know if your ears were burning or not, but I mentioned that we did the live event last Friday. And so if any of you guys have not already checked out the Pedal Guys show, jump in and, participate. He's very knowledgeable about multi-effects units and a whole bunch of other gear. And hopefully he'll even answer some questions here today for us and jump right in the chat. So I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you joining us. Christian says this week I bought new picks. Christian's a big spender. Christian, what did you get? 1.5 thick. Normally I play 1mm picks. This changed my sound dramatically. I got more treble and mids. Yeah, you know what? A lot of people overlook that little plastic thingy that we're holding in our hands. That's where the sound starts, guys. And indeed, a different style picks made of different material, different thicknesses, do dramatically change your sound. And it's funny because, we automatically jump into changing pickups or different things on in our signal chain, pedals, cables, whatever. But we often overlook the good old-fashioned pick. And I just grabbed a random one, this is like a really bad no-name pick here that I have. But I usually have like a container or two filled with picks. And just so you know, I've experimented with most of them. The V picks are really nice. I like those. This one's really thick. There's no thickness on it, but I'm gonna say this is probably like 3 millimeters or at least 2.5. Look at this thing. It looks like a Big Mac or something. I don't know. It's really really fat. I like the stubby ones that you get here. These are the big stubbies. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm gonna hold it where it's a little. It has a little indentation, but it's also quite thick. You see that? Pretty thick. I like those. My go-to has always been these the Jim Dunlop Jazz picks, the small ones. But I find that these are good if you want to do pinch harmonics because they're so small. It's easy to get the meat of your thumb in the sound of your pick of your picking, you know. And then of course, you know, the regular Fender heavy, you know, those are always good. This is an extra heavy. I tend to lean through to the thicker picks. Um, why? I don't know why. I just tend to prefer the thicker picks. Um, I think to me it just I like the picks when they don't bend so much, unless I'm playing acoustic. I've even tried some of these metal picks that I showed you. That these are very thin, but they're metal, so they don't bend at all. I don't know if you guys have seen these before. It gives you more of a scratchy type sound. Great for like raunchy, you know, blues or you know ZZ Top type tones and stuff like that. But they do wreak havoc on your strings because it actually scratches your strings, so your strings don't last as long. And just like running my finger across the edge here, I can feel like there's some like a bit of bite. There's teeth, so you have to kind of almost like sand it down a little bit so it doesn't like really scratch up your strings. So I use this sparingly, but from time to time I like to use that. It just adds more flavor. Monk is here. Good morning. Randy says happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian cousins. Sorry, I forgot. No, no problem. And Quicksilver says I just got the Herco picks. House of Twang says Tortex. Have any of you tried the picks that are made out of wood? I've actually tried wooden picks at one point. And I've tried almost all of the different picks, and some of them are just really darn expensive. You know, I don't like to spend like $10 on one pick, and some of them are that expensive because I end up losing them. I shed picks like crazy. I always tell my wife if ever I get kidnapped or anything happens to me, just follow the trail of picks because there's always picks coming out of my pocket. Especially since I started stuffing my cell phone in my pocket, and it has a little lip because the case has a little lip on it. And every time I pull it out of my pocket, it snags a pick and pulls it out of my pocket, and it falls on the floor. So I'm constantly losing these things, and it wouldn't make sense for me to spend $10 on a pick because I'd probably lose it in about an hour. Jeff says, well, the wife has just, you know what? I think I'm losing my sight because I'm trying to read the comments and I'm a little bit further from the screen. I'm going to have to like boost it up a little bit here so I can actually read it. Yeah, the gravity picks are nice. I've tried those too. I like them. What I was going to say is, has anybody tried the tusk picks? Because there's also some picks that are made of tusk, the same material that you would find on your nut, the guitar nut, or even, you know, bridge saddles sometimes. Apparently there's also picks made of this stuff now. I haven't tried it. I was curious. I haven't actually had an opportunity to buy any yet, but I'd like to try them out of curiosity. Hey, Dan, thank you, buddy. Dan says he enjoyed the Nuex segment. Thanks. Great. I'm glad you did. That's good to hear. Good morning from Boston. Hey, how's it going? Boston, my second home. I love Boston. If I wasn't living in Montreal, I'd probably want to live in Boston. Martin says Dunlap Maxi Grip for me. Since I tried it, I can go back to slippery picks. I agree. Slippery picks, I don't know why it's so difficult to make picks like grippy, but I love grippy picks too. I mean, you're strumming, and there's nothing worse than strumming and your pick goes flying when you're playing, and you're like all embarrassed. Eddie says he got some of those Tusk picks and they feel like hard plastic, so he didn't like them. All right, thank you. Maybe you just saved me $6 or $7. Thank you, Monk. He says it sounds great. I'm playing through the MG400. If you guys are curious about what I'm playing through, I'm sorry I didn't show you the guitar. This is a 20, I'm going to say, I forget what it is. It's a 20, I believe it's a 2016. I'm terrible. My memory is like going, guys. I'm telling you. Yeah, this is a 2016 Gibson Les Paul Standard that I picked up. I think it was probably in 2017, around there. I bought it used. I love it because I love the the flame on it and stuff. It's got a really nice top, and it's got the locking tuners. I don't know if the nut is original on this thing, because it's really nice. It doesn't look like a typical Gibson nut. It looks like a really nice bone nut, and it's made extremely well. So I'm thinking maybe the guy who had it before me had the nut changed, because it's really I haven't seen nuts like this on a Gibson. I wish I could give you a close-up view of it. And basically the guitar is stock except for, you guessed it, the pickups. The pickups are not new, original Gibson pickups. They are Pariah pickups that I put in there. And this guitar also has the pickups changed out, because originally the owner had a set of really high gain pickups in here. Like, I didn't like them at all. So I ended up reaching out to Pariah, and they basically wound a set of pickups for me called the Celebration set. I did a full review on these. They're meant to sound like, Led Zeppelin. So you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like, like one. Things like that. And I think they do an excellent job. So I kept them in. They've been in ever since. And if you're interested in checking them out, there is a full video, like I mentioned, in my archive. Guys, don't forget, there's hundreds of videos of stuff that I've reviewed in the past. And I know you guys like the new stuff that comes out. You get notified, and there's new things that are being reviewed and I talk about. But jump in the rabbit hole. Check out the older stuff. There's a lot of things out there, and a lot of the stuff that you might like. All right, says just going jumping back to the comments here. Jeff says the Highland Plectrum Company makes great picks out of old coins. I've made my own. I've actually done that. I've actually just taken old coins and done the Billy Gibbons, just the Billy Gibbons treatments on an old coin, and used that for a while. Yeah, that's cool too. I don't know if I'd pay for it. You could just do it yourself. Let's see here. Well, I love Montreal. I still have a parking ticket from there going back to 2005. Yeah, I think you mentioned that a while ago. So it means you probably can never come back. You might end up getting pulled over at one point and then you're in trouble. Yeah. DMAX says put pics in the coin pocket if wearing jeans. I find that works great to keep from losing them. You're absolutely right. And I often forget about that little pocket. Not all of my jeans have those though. Like the ones I'm wearing today don't have them. Actually, they do have them. Yeah, I always forget about that little pocket. It's actually not good for anything except pics probably, right? Oh man, my hair is really all right. Mm. Good morning, Jamal. How are you doing, buddy? Thank you for joining us. Gospel of Mark says he's working, just saying hi. We'll watch later. Thank you for dropping by, Mark. Don't work too hard, buddy. My dog's snoring like crazy in the back. She was snoring even before the show started. Like she came here, sat down, and started snoring. I swear the dog starts to snore even before her eyes are closed. Anyways, the pedal guy says high gain pickups on Les Paul, no bueno. Yeah, I agree. I'm a low gain kind of guy, or more of a classic pickup kind of guy. I mean, I'm not gonna say I've never used or appreciate higher gain pickups. I think they're good in some regards, but I don't necessarily want to put one of those in my Les Pauls. At least not right now, anyways. And Mark is trying to decide which guitar to play for my first gig with the new Power Trio next weekend, leaning towards the SG. I think you've been actually playing a lot of that SG lately, Mark, haven't you? I've seen a lot of your Instagram posts. You seem to really be enjoying the SG, which is great. I like it. I like the SG a lot. You're kind of, giving me the influence, and I keep on second guessing the SGs that come through my feed sometimes when I'm looking at the used gear, and I'm like, maybe I should get one just like Mark has. So if ever I show up with an SG, you'll know who influenced me. And I'll have to blame you, Mark, and throw you under the bus so my wife doesn't get mad at me. Is that okay? um, let's see here. Surfer By says, I still have my 82 30th anniversary gold top Les Paul I bought in 1982. Knew nothing about Les Pauls, just thought it looked so cool. Glad I did. Yeah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Those gold tops, just beautiful. You know. I'm glad I grabbed one too. It's not a Gibson gold top. It's an Edwards, but for all intents and purposes, it plays great. Like I couldn't ask for anything more out of that Edwards gold top. It's got P90s on it. A lot of people are not into that P90 flavor, but for me, P90s are fantastic. I love them. Gene says, I thank Canada for Lauren Green and the Arnis brothers. Here we go. Now we're going to start off with, I thank Canada for maple syrup. I thank Canada for igloos, beaver tails. Have you guys tried beaver tails? If you guys don't know what beaver tails are, it's nothing nasty. There's no sexual relationship to what a beaver tail is. A beaver tail is it's basically fried dough. It looks like a beaver tail because it's shaped the same way. It's dough that they deep fry, and then they throw like cinnamon and sugar and all kinds of good stuff on it. And nothing beats a beaver tail fresh out of the vat of boiling water, boiling oil. I mean, and it's just so great. It's like, I'd love to have one right now. Hockey and beer, yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of things to be thankful for. I gotta really I gotta say that, look, guys, what I really have to be thankful is for you guys and the fact that you guys are tuning in on a regular basis. It's just so much fun. I mean, honestly, there's not a lot I look forward to in life these days, but I mean, having you guys here is a blast. So I really That's one of the things. And I'm not just sucking up, guys. I'm not just sucking up. All right. So I wanted to also say before we get a little bit, I mean, it's already half an hour gone, so I'm trying to get to a couple of interesting things as well. One of the things I wanted to actually talk about after I answer this question, because questions come first, and Russell's got a question. He says, good morning. Any opinions on the Seymour Duncan JB versus the 59 custom hybrid for the bridge position on a Strat? Strat. It's interesting because whenever I think Duncan JB or 59, I always think humbucker. I always automatically think humbucker because those I've used so many times before. My opinion is that if you want a humbucker sound, use a humbucker. Yeah, unfortunately, it's the hard truth. Not gonna lie, a lot of people end up getting the Duncan JB or the 59 in a humbucker format and thinking that they're gonna get the full humbucker sound. In my opinion, that's not really true. You're never gonna get that full humbucker sound. So it's really a question of, are you trying to get do you really want to get that humbucker sound, or are you just trying to get a different sound from your Strat? But the JB is great. If it was me, and I'm going by what I remember the JB sounding like as a humbucker, because I honestly have not used the Strat versions, except I've heard them and I've played guitars that had them in them. I don't own one. The JB is the one to use in the bridge, in my opinion. That's what I would do, because the 59 is a little bit more subtle. It doesn't have that edge. So I lean towards the JB. If any of you guys have different opinions, voice them. This is an open discussion, guys. Open conversation. So there's no right or wrong here. It's just a question of what works best for you. All right. So again, I mentioned it at the top of the segment here when we started. If you're new, guys, please type in new. Just do it now, so I know who's new here. There's a few new faces, but maybe you've been here before, and I just overlooked you in the past here. So I'd like to know who the new faces are, because I know we're getting new people in here. There's more and more people every time we have a show. So a lot of you are just lurking in the background. Don't do that. Jump right in. Say hello. Let's see. What else? I wanted to talk about... Oh, yeah. So it's funny because I mentioned the pedal guy, and when we had the discussion on the show, the topic came out about the Horseman. The Horseman is the new X version of the Klon. And a lot of people over the weeks have told me, hey, you should really try this out. And I had it, in the memory bank, but I just didn't really think about it. It was sort of in the background. So I decided to take a look, and I wanted to buy one. I wanted to buy one, review it for you guys, have it on the show, whatever. And I was expecting it to be like under $60. And lo and behold, I jump onto Amazon. It's $112. So I don't know what's going on with the pricing there. And I thought maybe, sometimes there are sellers on Amazon that just they just jack up the prices when there's not a lot of inventory. So I went onto eBay and I checked out the prices on eBay. Same thing. So I don't know if all of a sudden the prices on these things are jumping because they've become popular, or if there's a shortage of inventory and that's why they jumped up the prices. I don't know. But I decided to let it go. I didn't want to spend $112 on that. I just felt, the price range, 50, 60, $70 even, decent. But 112, I think I'll wait. But it looks like a really cool pedal, and eventually I'd like to try one. But for the time being, I got enough other pedals here that'll keep me busy. So I'll just hang on. If you guys have seen that, let me know. Maybe it's just a Canadian thing. I'm not really sure. The Lion King says, I have elective course lecture I'm not looking forward to on Monday. Help! Calling sick, dude. You got to do what you got to do. Quicksilver says the Horseman is €60 at Thomann. So €60. what is that in Canadian now? That's almost in Canadian. I got to do the conversion. I don't know what the euro is in Canada here. Russell says the 59 custom is a combination of one coil from the 59 and one coil from the custom. I don't recall which one is the slug size and which one is the screw side. So Russell's schooling us on some humbucker information here. And John D says, I checked the price here in the US a few stores and it's only 69 bucks. That's what I don't understand. If it's $69 in the US, that would mean it would be 30% more in Canada, which is not $112, unless my math is totally off. So, yeah, don't know. I'm hoping that it's not going to be across the board and all this, all the new X stuff is going to be super expensive here in Canada. That would be a shame because I'm a big fan of the new X stuff. I also wanted to mention, oh, you know, I got to mention something. I have to get this off my chest because it really pissed me off yesterday. So basically what happened yesterday was this, all right, guys. I had something for sale. And what ended up happening was the seller contacted me, asked me if the price was negotiable. I can't stand it when this happens. So if you're out there, you're watching, you know who you are. You know, I'm not saying it's necessarily one of you guys, but maybe it is. Who knows? Somebody might be lurking in the background that wants to buy my stuff. Anyways, long story short, I like to accommodate if people are nice. And if they ask me if my price is negotiable, I'm willing to negotiate a little bit, right? So I asked them, give me an offer. You know, I don't like to have to haggle all that much, and I like to be fair. So I had my price at a price point that I believed was fair. He said, you know, are you negotiable? I'm like, sure. Like, tell me what you want to offer. He gives me a price which is like half of what I'm trying to sell the unit at, and it's definitely not going out the door at that price. I guarantee you. But I try and be nice, and I knock off 25 bucks off the price, which I feel is fair. I mean, the unit wasn't that expensive. All right. We're talking about a unit that's under 300 bucks. So anyways, I knock off about 200 bucks on the price. He says, great, I'm interested. When can I come by? You know, I'm ready to come now. Just let me know. Fine. So I tell him, yep, come by. It's ready for you. Great. Everything's good. He says he'll be at my place at a certain time. That time comes and goes. Guy doesn't show up. No message saying, hey, I changed my mind. No message saying, you know, sorry, I can't make it. I tried texting him back a few times saying, hey, are you still coming? Did you get lost? You know, what's the scenario? Nothing. So that really pisses me off. Like, you know, have the common courtesy to at least be honest. Say, hey, I changed my mind. I found something better. You know, I don't want to spend that much, whatever it may be. But I basically, at that point, you know, I just block the guy. Not going to deal with this guy anymore. And, you know, that's it. You had your chance. I'm not going to waste any more time. I don't have any more patience for people that do that kind of stuff. You know, I don't like to do that to people. And, you know, I just don't have any patience for that anymore. So I don't know if you guys have dealt with stuff like that before. There's a lot of crazy stories when it comes to buying and selling used stuff out there. But I had to get that off my chest. I feel better now. All right. I'm glad you guys are listening. Not like you have a choice, but you know, if I have to vent. Gospel of Mark says, I have some Mojo Tone 59s that I've had forever. I need a guitar to put them in. That is the classic case of I need to buy another guitar, so I need an excuse. If I would buy a guitar for every pickup I have lying around here, Mark, I'd need a bigger garage or something. But I get what you're saying, brother. Mojo Tones 59s, I've only heard good things about those pickups. What are you leaning towards? You know, what would you want to put them in? You have some really nice guitars as it is, so I don't know. Davis overslept. It's 7 o'clock. No worries, Davis. No worries. 7 o'clock, man. I wouldn't get up at 7 o'clock to listen to me. So I appreciate it, dude. I really do. All right. So let's see here. People are pretty enthusiastic about the PRS pedals. I expect that they're going to do well. I thought I am, though I'm not shopping for pedals. BC Rich 581. I listened to those clips, the initial clips, and I mentioned it last week. They didn't excite me. Also, the price point didn't excite me. But again, sometimes the audio clips on these videos are not the greatest. And unless you have them in your hands and you're playing them through your own gear, it's hard to say. So my initial impression was meh, not super impressed, but I could be mistaken. Maybe I'll give it a chance, wait for a few more reviews, people playing the pedals through different type of, different signal chains, and see if maybe my mind gets changed. I like to give it a chance. Presley says someone on Reverb who purchased a Presley Customs for $950 plus shipping, they are reselling it now for $1,299 plus shipping. Not sure how I feel about him jacking up the price. Yeah, that kind of leads that leads me to believe that your prices are too low. You got to get right under there. You know what I mean? $950 is great. Don't get me wrong, and I don't want you to jack up your prices just because of me, because people are going to say, Tony, shut the F up. It's a good price. We can grab great guitars for under $1,000. I think $950 is a reasonable price. But yeah, you might get people that are just, they feel that it's a good opportunity to jack it up a bit. So I don't know how, what can you do? How can you stop that? I don't really see how you can stop it. Unfortunately. And it's a shame because you're putting in the hard work and they're making the profits. So yeah, I don't know. That's a tricky one. The Eagle and Pony Show says I drove 50 miles to buy an amp. Got there, he just sold it to a friend after talking for 2 days and setting up a time. That would drive me absolutely batty. Completely batty. If I'm going out of town, there's a couple of times that I've been asked to meet somebody, like halfway. Somebody's coming, he wants to buy something, and he's like, I'm coming from Ontario or Ottawa or wherever it could be, and he's like, could you meet me halfway? And I usually try to oblige, but no more, because I've been taken advantage of once too many times, and it's always the same. The good guy always ends up getting the sticky end of the stick, so to speak. And I don't do it anymore. I just don't. If you really want it, you'll come get it. I'm not gonna go out of my way anymore. Yeah, so Monk's opinion is let him up the value of your guitars as long as you're getting what you want. I mean, look, if your guitar is worth more than $950 and he's trying to sell it for like $1,200, $1,250, in a way, isn't that a good thing for you? Because people are going to look at his and then they're going to look at yours and they're going to say, damn, I could save myself a couple $100 right off the bat getting it straight from the source. What I would do is I would post a equivalent. When I say equivalent, I mean a copy ad. Make it as close to his as possible on the same platform. So when his pops up, yours pops up at a better price. So it's almost like it's good advertising in a way, because you have the better price. That's what I would do. Just make sure your ad pops up. When somebody's searching for his, make sure yours is there too. I know it's extra work and hassle, but in a way, you can leverage it. Mark says, I hear that I've been gigging for over 20 years, had a break in the middle due to burnout with my band, but the hunger never goes away. So I'm jumping in halfway in another conversation here. So yeah, Quicksilver. It applies to IKEA stuff too. It applies to anything. Just people have no morals anymore. So what are you gonna do, right? You gotta try and vet them, but you can't always do that. So are you guys telling me there's no new guys? There's no new faces here today? Nobody? I asked you guys to type in new if you're a newcomer. If this is the first time you're on the show, and haven't seen one. So I guess everybody here is a veteran addicted to gear junkie. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't see. Maybe it's just, I thought there were new faces. Maybe I'm wrong. Can't keep track of everyone. John D says, happened to me. I sold a Fender Blues Junior. Guy comes over to try it, loved it, then says, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't buy this now. I'm new to guitar. So eventually talked him into buying it. So I eventually talked him into buying it. All right, well, you switched them around. That's good. You never know. You never know who's going to walk through that door, right? So you got to be patient. I wanted to talk a little bit about some interesting information that I saw. Iron Maiden apparently announced it's their first show of 2023. Apparently, they're going to do a show, and the tickets start. I can't speak. The tickets go on sale October 13th and 14th, which is just a couple of days from now. And I think they're touring everywhere except Italy. No, they're actually even touring in Italy, except they're going to be starting the ticket sale for Italy tomorrow. So if you guys are Iron Maiden fans, that's great news. Going back on tour, they're still kicking ass. Interesting. I was happy to see that. We're getting a little bit low on the classic. I call them classic rock because they've been around for a long time. We're getting a little bit low on some of those acts, I find. So it's nice to see them, still doing it. Eddie's asking a moral question here. Eddie says, Tony, you locked in a deal with a guy at 200, but someone shows up and offers you more. Do you honor your original deal or take the more money? Look, I don't like to take advantage of people. If the guy shows up with money in his hands, and I did tell the first buyer, and the first buyer's like, yeah, I'm totally going to be there. I don't like to do that. If the first buyer is on the fence and hasn't committed, then it's first come, first serve. But if somebody's committed and I have I lock down a time, the guy's coming over today at 3 and somebody shows up with more money, it doesn't usually happen because I don't usually like to deal with more than one person at a time. But that's what I would do. Hey Cranar, nice to see you. How's it going, dude? I like your thumbnail picture. Nice guitar you got there. So that was some of the news I wanted to share with you. There's also news from the prog rock side of things. For those of you that are Peter Gabriel fans, as I am, basically Peter Gabriel is set to release his first album in 20 years, guys. 20 years. That's a long time. It's coming out probably before Christmas, I would assume. And additional great news, he's going on tour. So I love Peter Gabriel. And, it's a shame he hasn't come out with more stuff. I remember going to see him, how many years has it been? I don't even remember. I believe it was probably, I'm going to say 1992. At least 30 years ago. Great performance. Musicians top notch. His performance top notch. Sound quality fantastic. theatrics, great. Had me like fixated the whole concert. Great, great show. And it just that show sticks in my mind as one of the I'm not going to say necessarily the best shows, but it's one of the highlights that of all the shows that I've seen in terms of quality of the musicians, the sound, everything. Great. So, if he's going back on tour, I'd love to see him again. He's definitely one of the artists that I would love to see again. I hope he comes to Montreal. It would be fantastic. If the tickets go on sale, I'll have to grab some. I just, I can't wait. There's also some other thing that's happening here in Montreal. Mark says, I wish we could get Maybachs easy here in America. I know. Those are great guitars, Mark. That would be a great guitar for your pickups, in my opinion, if you can grab one. You might be able to get them on eBay or something, or maybe Reverb, even though you can't buy them direct. The thing is, I mean, you have to be confident that the guitar is what you're looking for. You don't want to just buy something and then regret it. Ben says Peter Gabriel is definitely a seasoned veteran in the music industry. I think he's great too. No doubt. I love his use of percussion in his music because his layering of the music, the way he plays with the beats, it's all groove and it's amazing. Like I love that stuff. I could listen to that stuff all day long, even though it's not really guitar oriented. There is some guitar. There's definitely great bass, great drums, very super tight musicians. But I just love the layering and especially the percussive influence of his music. It's all about the beat. Paul says, Tony, a lot of classic rock bands are losing guys to age, old-fashioned heart attacks, etc. Most are maybe the bass player or drummer, often guys that had a low profile with the fans. Yeah, I mean, yeah, everybody's getting older, man. 30 years have gone by like that since I went to that concert. He's 30 years older. You know what I mean? He's not a young man anymore. So who knows if his voice is even in top shape anymore? But I'd love to go. That's something I would really love. So maybe I'll ask for that for my birthday present. I didn't think of that. I don't know if it's a little too soon. Who knows? Wasn't Peter Gabriel playing a Squire Strat or something lately? I don't know, Davis. I'm not really sure. I don't keep track of all of that stuff. Perhaps. Tonefish says, did you see the new Jim Lil video tested? Where does the tone come from in a guitar amplifier? No, I did not. I'll have to take a look at that. Is it worth watching? If it is, I'll definitely take a look at that. So there's another thing I wanted to mention here. I don't know if this is going around the world or what. If it's just one of these things that is like a touring type show. But I just came across this here in Montreal. I'm super excited. It says that Montreal welcomes the Pink Floyd exhibition. Their Mortal Remains, it's called. And basically, it starts November 4th. And it's an exhibition. And what it says is it's basically you get to relive the band's journey from 1967 to the 2000s. And I'm not even sure what that means, but it's sort of I guess a visual, immersive type exhibition. Probably sound, music, visuals on the band. And apparently there's 350 artifacts, objects on display. Apparently you get to see like firsthand the objects like handwritten lyrics, musical instruments, letters, stage props, original artworks, and other things like that. So it could be interesting. I mean, I like Pink Floyd. I like Pink Floyd a lot, and it could be a definite little an outing. I don't know how much the tickets would cost here. If we would try to buy some tickets right now, a lot of them are actually already sold out, believe it or not. Wow. Says here, The tickets vary from 27 to 45 bucks. Depends on which day of the week you go. So if you go on the weekend, it's a lot more expensive. If you go during the week, it's less expensive. And you can even get a group discount. So that's pretty cool. I might have to book something there. I'd like to go see that. I really would. So if any of you guys have already seen that somewhere, maybe it's doing the tour in your area, let me know if that's something. All right, so I'll take a look at that, Tonefish. Thank you. I like shocking results. That's cool. Yeah, Mark, me too, buddy. Pink Floyd, love it. I'll let you know if I end up going. I'll let you know how it is. Cool. Paul says when Peter Gabriel left Genesis, my band Talis was second on the short list to be his backup band. Timing is everything, right, Paul? And Cranar says you can't compare a Gibson Les Paul Standard to a Maybach Lester. The price might be the same, but you get custom shop Gibson quality with the production line at Maybach. Yeah, because it's small volume, right? These guys are building the guitars. It's not like a huge production line. So they're outputting a lot less guitars. Hopefully they're putting a lot more attention to the details and setup. And it says, Quicksilver says that the Maybach is about 200 euros more expensive than a Gibson Les Paul 50 Standard. You know, I'm not surprised if they're putting in the final touches, the hand loved setup, and building the guitars, smaller volumes. Yeah, they probably would be a little bit more expensive. You know. You know what? We were talking about pickups earlier on. Excuse me. Oh, I think I need a sip of coffee, guys. Sorry. Give me 1 sec. Oh, we're already an hour in. All right. We were talking pickups earlier on, and I don't know if you guys saw this or not, so I'm going to bring it to your attention because I like sharing this stuff with you guys. Stu Mac is now going a little bit deeper into their pickup production. So I know you guys probably already have heard of the Stu Mac Golden Age, Parson pickups. I think a lot of you know that they do sell pickups. Now apparently they're getting into it a little bit more. There's actually going to be more pickups being offered, and it's going to be pretty cool because you have an alternate source of pickups. I'm hoping that their pricing is not going to be super expensive. They claim to build them with care. They claim to replicate the pickups from the old days. Whether or not that's true or not, you would have to try them for yourself and make up your mind. But it's interesting that they're getting into it a little bit more, and there's gonna be more selection. So have any of you actually tried any of these Stu Mac pickups in your guitars? The only one I actually got an opportunity to try is I installed some pickups in a friend's guitar and set it up for him and everything. So I had it in my possession for a while. These were the Parson Project pickups, and they sounded really good. I gotta admit, they sounded really good. No issues with them. But I haven't tried any of the others yet. I haven't. So I'm curious to see what you guys are if Stu Mac is even on your radar, or if you go straight to boutique pickups, or just stick to the well-known brands like Seymour Duncan and DiMarzio and Fralin and all these things. Craner says you get aging, boutique pickups, fancy case, and cherry-picked wood for almost the same price as a standard Gibson. I'm talking about the Maybachs here. Tonefish says I've been putting Planet Tone pickups in everything lately. So you're a big fan. Any specific model that you like, Tonefish? Anyone that you've tried from the bunch that stands out to you? I'd be interested in knowing, because I'm a big pickup swapping freak, as you guys probably already know. BC Rich 581 says I have an older Stumac neck pickup humbucker in my Telecaster style GNL, but that was 3 years ago, so I'm not sure of the new pickup lines. Yeah, me too. I'm curious. I'm curious about those new ones. So who knows? Maybe I'll get an opportunity to try a couple for you guys too. You know, you're talking about the Czech Republic build quality. I don't know if you guys follow this YouTuber. His channel's called F-Bomb. 8-Bomb, sorry. 8-Bomb, not F-Bomb. Thinking totally different thing there. 8-Bomb. He actually custom, I guess, if you want to call it relicking. I don't really call it relicking because it's not necessarily relicking, but he basically takes a modern looking guitar, and it could be a Gibson, it could be something else, and he kind of retros it. That's maybe the better term. He basically makes it look like an older guitar, not necessarily relicking it, but he strips it down, he repaints it with the right colors. You know, he does a little bit of aging to it, but not necessarily relicking per se, unless that's what you're looking for. And he does a fantastic job. I love watching his videos. And I think he's located in the Czech Republic too, someplace. Tonefish says the 57 humbuckers are fantastic, comparable to my PRS 5708s, and the Alnico 3 hot Telecaster neck is great. You know, the 57s, I love the 57 Classics in my Gibson 57 Classics that I have in my 335 Gibson semi-hollow body guitar. If they sound anything like that, I'd be interested in trying them out. Monk says, Addicted to Gear Pup just made an appearance on the show. LOL. Pup? All right, guys. I think that's going to be about it for today. What do you guys think? We are in to about an hour and 10 minutes. I think we had a great chat today. We'll keep it short and sweet. What do you guys think? Right? If there's any last comments, I usually like to give the last 5 or 10 minutes to last comments. If you guys are lurking and you don't know if you want to ask your questions, do it now. I'll stay on another 5 or 10 minutes if we have some questions. If not, we'll wrap it up. Tonefish says, I also have 57 Classics in my SG. They do compare well. I love a good 57. So would you say that the 57 Classics, I mean, are they in the same ballpark or do they sound different? Because not all 57s sound the same. I'm always looking for a source of more affordable sounding 57 Classics. You know, if we can get in the ballpark with another type of pickup model or company, I'm always looking for that. So that's why I'm asking. Quicksilver says, I think Maybach factory is the old Epiphone factory. That's interesting. Yeah, it could be. I don't really know. I haven't been following this stuff, so I couldn't tell you. But that's interesting. It's me, Don P. says, see you next week. Don, thank you for stopping by, buddy. Yes, see you next week for sure. Mark says, cheers, guys. Last weekend I worked for the month. So next few weekends I can hang out the whole time. Awesome, Mark. Thank you. Yeah, the dog wants to leave. She's like, all right, you know, give me some food. She's probably smelling something upstairs, maybe turkey or something. She's giving me the nudge. Monk says, all this talk of the Czech Republic today, I feel I must repeat that Alexandra Zerner has a new release coming out of the Czech Republic due November 23rd. Thank you for that information. I was not aware of that. Mark has a question. Do you ever gig with a solid state amp or always a tube amp? I only gigged with a solid state amp a couple of times, and it wasn't mine. They were solid state amps that were at the rehearsal studio. So I tried them out, and although they're a good clean platform, they do react different to the pedals and whatnot. So you have to adjust. But normally, the only solid state stuff that I'll jam through is if I'm playing through a multi-effects unit and I'm not playing with an amp at all, and I'll go through an FRFR speaker. I'll do it that way. Otherwise, I don't really play. I don't own any solid state amps right now. So that's the long story short. I get what you're saying, Mark. Yeah, you're debating whether or not. I mean, solid state has a lot of advantages touring because they're not as delicate, the tubes and all that. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. I know you're using your Katana and you seem to be happy with that. At the end of the day, if you get the guys up and moving, nobody really cares whether you're playing through a transistor amp or a tube amp, as long as it sounds good. Tonefish says they're very similar, brighter and more clarity than my 59s. Awesome. Thank you for that. I'll have to check them out. All right, guys, so I'm going to say thank you to everyone who participated in the chat today. I really do appreciate you guys stopping by, even though it's short and sweet today. If you guys have any questions or anything that you'd like me to check out in terms of gear, leave your comments. If I could accommodate in any way, I will. There's going to be some videos coming up. There's a very unique guitar that I have lined up for you guys. It's like nothing I've ever played before, and I'm hoping to have that video finished this week, and I'll post it on my channel for you to enjoy and critique and comment and give feedback on, like you always do. I appreciate your support, guys. If you like the stuff we're doing here, number one thing to remember is to subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up, if you will, before you exit. That would really make me happy. And of course, you're always welcome to support the channel either through super chats or through getting some swag. Any little contribution goes a long way into helping me continue what I'm doing here today. It's not necessary, not required, but it is appreciated. That's it for today, guys. I wish you all a great week. Stay safe, stay warm. Enjoy your Thanksgiving weekend if you are in Canada. For those of you that are not in Canada, it's coming up shortly. So, hang in there. An extra day off or so is always nice if you can get it. And that's it. We'll be back next Sunday, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with show number 133. And maybe we'll have some interesting stuff as well to show you, because I do have some stuff lined up that I wanted to share with you guys that is coming up. All right. So stay tuned for that. And stay safe. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk again soon.